I've been asked to connect all of this to plasma, and I am so glad that I was asked to do so, because plasmoids, plasma clouds, plasmic beings, plasmoid fields, plasmoid balls, plasma to the plane of plasma, plasmoid. I'm a plasma being. You're a being of fire. You're a plasma being.
If you stare at a green circle and then look at a white surface, you'll see a magenta circle. And it's that it used to be called flashing, and it was a meditative technique of Hermetic Kabbalists, 100 years or so ago. And there's still people doing it. But the point is that when you see a green leaf, the reason you're seeing the green is because the leaf is actually magenta. So you're seeing the counter color to the magenta flower. And likewise with all your sense impressions. Rudolf Steiner describes what people look like to a horse. And if you want to have your brain rewired, just read that account, because they look at us and we're as if like these flaming beings coming up to them, So no wonder they do as they're told, It's funny. We assume that the world around us, that these creatures are all perceiving the world the way we perceive it, and they don't at all. They see their consciousness is based on whatever state of being that their consciousness is based on. And so you have them in these various different stages of the astral light that their consciousness is perceiving through. And so they're, I used to have these two cats, we had a old Siamese named Pasha, and then a younger black and white cat, black with white paws and white spot. But, I used to chase my little elemental being around the living room. Yeah, it's funny because Pasha would just sit there, he'd just look at it, watch it, he didn't care, The other cat would chase it until she caught up with it, and then she'd look startled because she'd catch it and there wouldn't be anything in her hands and it would fly away as a globe of light, but it was this little man. And before they lock me up talking about this, I'm just being very, very sincere. And, I know that I've shared seeing the same being with others, like David Spangler, and when he chased it away with the brush of his hand. But so you have all these things around you that you do not perceive because you're so caught up with the things that you think you do perceive. And so it behooves you to discipline yourself to be able to just put yourself in the driver's seat and be able to take the kind of methodology that's given in Rudolf Steiner's books and Knowledge of Higher Worlds and the outline of esoteric science or occult science, it's published as sometimes, and that you find that if you work with these principles of discipline, that it brings you into a state to where you can make conscious decisions regarding these aspects of your being that we're calling here thinking, feeling, and willing. And so by being able to take full control, so to speak, especially with like the path that's laid out in the philosophy of freedom, where you're able to truly think about thinking. And if you can truly think about thinking, then that's basically learning how to think like an angel. That's basically what it is, And I remember taking that class with Hans Gabert at the Institute. I think I took that class 7 times. And we went through paragraph by paragraph. And when you break it down to the simplicity that's behind all those words are something to give people that are accustomed to thinking in abstract terms to be able to frame in their consciousness what exactly he's referring to, when actually he could have made the book 1 paragraph long.
Plasmoids. In the human body, and there's a clear distinction here, your blood is made up of 55% plasma, but that's totally different. They named it that because it was the wonder substance that carried the life of the human being. Well, there's plasma in 99.99% of the universe. Down here on Earth, we have atoms, supposedly, according to this scientific religion. of beliefs, which are really guesses called theories. But anyway, the point is they're beginning to understand now that these beings, these orbs that are appearing everywhere, are probably the manifestation of higher beings. And so now they're saying plasmoids, which are a natural phenomena of the earth. Rudolf Steiner describes it in giving the wisdom that's found in the etheric formative forces by Gunther Wachsmuth, clearly describes this pre-physical realm where cosmic substances are being transformed through cold fusion from one substance to another, from helium to O3, which is ozone, and from ozone into oxygen, which creates our atmosphere. From hydrogen, it's being transformed from cosmic hydrogen through these plasma clouds. It's being transformed into hydrogen peroxide and then later into water. So the basis of life on Earth, oxygen and water, and of course sunlight, which is what activates all this process in the plasma clouds, that's what gives us our life. But what we don't understand is that we are plasmic beings. In our heart, we have a magnetodynamic plasma generator because it's taking a stream of your blood, which is what I had said was the motivation for me studying perception for 40 or 50 years, whatever it's been, and not coming to many good conclusions. But I finally realized that cold fusion is happening in the heart, and there's also fusion happening in the brain. And that also creates literally a halo around you, around the earth. It's called the aurora borealis. But also in your heart, there's a halo, there's a glow, there's the bioenergetic energy of your entire body. Every single cell in your body is going through a chemical transformation that then imprints upon the blood, runs across the atriosynal node in your ventricle, and it creates a bioelectricity. Well, you can't usually see this unless you're clairvoyant. But if you could see it, then you'd see that the heart is on fire. That's where our fire comes from. In ancient Hindu scriptures, it talks about the flame next in between the heart and the lung that's as big as the person's end of their thumb. So there's a little flame going on there. And in Poa practices, they teach you how to extinguish that and die consciously. Or they teach you how to use that to levitate. Or they teach you how to use your heart and that, what I call cold fusion or a magnetohydrodynamic generator. They meditate until they turn into flame and burn up and leave a little pile of ashes. And coming from the flame is a beautiful rainbow. And so this has happened many, many, many times. We know that in America, we've had, hundreds of cases of spontaneous combustion. How does that happen? Because if you could perceive, Rudolf Steiner said, if you could for one moment perceive what's actually happening in your physical body, you would burst into flames. He says that. And so if we can fine-tune our perception, we can start to see the manifestation of the angels and the archangels and the archai in these plasmoid fields, plasmoid balls, and basically realize that we are using that as probably a type of vehicle that we will use when we dissolve the material plane, the plane of atoms, and go into the plane of plasma. We will be using a plasma vehicle. He says it will be round, it will be made out of carbon, and that's what's the crystals that are in plasmoids are carbon, and that it will be transparent. You'll be able to look through it, will rise up off the surface of the earth and receive the true nourishment that our atmosphere filters for us so that we don't get burned up alive down here by UV rays, gamma rays, and all the rest, cosmic rays, or even the sunlight, the warmth, light, sound, and life of the sun, so that we don't get burned up by it too fast. We have to evolve slowly. We have the atmosphere there as the wings of Christ wrapping around us and transforming cosmic elements into elements that humans can use so that we can rise up and again rise up back to the realm we came from, which is a cosmic realm of the ethers.
Yes, and elsewhere Rudolf Steiner points out that he says, when you look at the stars and you see them in the night sky, what you're seeing is the astral light. That's the light of the stars. arising out of the astral. The blue sky through which the light passes through, see that as the etheric. And so you have, the etheric is an arena in which things can take place, see? And that's kind of one way of looking at the way in which the ethers exist. And so what Douglas is sharing here, it's like, it gets so deep, so fast that I trust that some of you will be able to take this up in the right way and do the kind of preliminary research that would be helpful to understand what we're talking about.
Yes, we send hypersonic missiles after them and they leave them in the dust. And then
they're not physical.
And they're not physical. They pass right through the missile, or they pass through an airplane, or they pass through the ISS, the International Space Station, where they pass. Okay, that's what's happening. But that's in the book, folks. And I mean, we explained it all there for you so that if you think what we're going to talk about today is going to be tough to handle, once you understand what plasma is, and you understand that Rudolf Steiner says plasma creates lightning. Okay, lightning is plasma. Everything in the universe is plasma. The only thing that's not plasma is what's on the surface of the Earth called the lithosphere. And we little humans live between the lithosphere and the troposphere, about this big, and that's 0.001% of the universe that we know of. And then we try to take those rules and apply it to the world. So we're going to explain things to you about the super etheric world that you're going to say, yeah, that can't exist in the physical world. Correct, it's not in the physical world. And anyone who tries to attribute this to being God in the physical world is nothing more than another scientific materialist. So essentially, warmth, light, sound, life. We're here, life. We had 3 stages before: warmth, light, sound. And we go through that with ancient Polaria, ancient Hyperborea, ancient Lemuria, ancient Atlantis. And now we're post-Atlantis. So what happened on Atlantis was really a lot to do with, that was the 4th. And that's when human beings incarnated.